this come in handy often?
It's tough being popular. Wouldn't want any admirers dropping in while we're away. Well now, that's as far as she goes. We'll be in yacht from here onwards.
Across the Sand Sea, to the Valley of the Dead, and to King Wraithwall's tomb below.
So when you're in yacht, skystones don't work at all. That's why we gotta hoof it the rest of the way, you see?
Happy you get to teach me something for a change?
Well, if you want to be a sky pirate, you gotta know your... Hey, what do you mean for a change?
Come on,
At least we
discuss
thought
it.
to bring
I'm smarter than
entertainment.
you.
Oh yeah? Says who? You want to see what they think about it?
I wouldn't be so confident.
Okay, here we are. We have moved into the Western Sand, and we're going to go and try to reach the tomb of King Wraithwall, which is Ashe's long-dead ancestor. Someone who potentially was buried with something called the Dawn Shard, which is another piece of deified nethicite, something like the Dusk Shard that we had previously. It can potentially give her the proof she has that she is who she says she is, for when they eventually try to retake Dalmasca from the Empire. Now, before we are heading out to that area, we have this group of merchants and stuff that are hanging around in this area, and it'll give me the chance that I need to, aside from save, but to go and buy the items I need to continue on forward. And I'm going to make a few changes to my character setups, so I'm going to pause the camera and get back to you after I've done that. Okay, we're ready to go on. Just quick overview of the changes that I had made. I had changed Ashe from being an offensive character to a ranged fighter. So she now has a bow equipped instead of a sword. Also, I picked up a new bow, silver bow, and the parallel arrows do a little bit more damage than the onion arrows, so she should be able to do some pretty good damage with that. Also switched Pinello over from using a dagger to the cherry staff. Cherry staff, low attack power, then again so was the dagger, but it also it boosts your magic power. So if I were to swap this off, notice her magic power goes down. Pinello is primarily a good for magic attack, although her armor is a little low. I have to get more license points for that. The rest of the characters, really nothing has changed in that regard, so I'm going to move on from here. Wow, look at that. What am I looking at here?
So, where exactly is Wraithwall's tomb?
Yeah, just
Far to
show
the
us.
west. We must first cross the Yogir Yensa, and beyond that the Nam Yensa, before we reach the tomb. An expanse of desert larger still than all of Dalmasca. We must pace ourselves. If you grow tired, we stop and take rest.
You don't have to worry about me. I'm tougher than I look.
You are at that.
Okay, we have to cross the two sand seas, and you don't really get a good view of it here because it's in-game graphics, but you've seen it in the cinematic we had just viewed. It is like an ocean of sand, and I guess it's got sort of like a water-like fluidity to it. So if you were to step in it, you'd probably sink. It's like the little tomato I killed earlier. Oh, I had also, level up. Let's demonstrate the new Mist Quickening that I picked up. And this is the first one I've gotten in this playthrough. It's a little bit late in the game to be picking this up. But it's, you know, you come across these in the license board. Yeah, oh jeez, I don't have full, hold on. Since my level went up, I'm no longer at maximum MP. So the next enemy I'll kill, I'll demonstrate the Mist Quickening. It replaces the limit break system that we had seen in the previous games, where you take damage and you can unleash powerful attacks. This, you fill up your MP bar, and once that's full, and it turns like this flashing orange and red color, you have the ability to unleash a Mist Quickening. Now let's go and do that on this thing, and see what happens.
How about some of this?
I'm screwing something up. Okay, I'm supposed to put in a combination of attacks, and that would have gone and been able to unleash more physical attacks the number of times I've been able to input the combination. I wasn't doing it right there, but it was still more than enough to take this little monster down. I also noticed my MP was reduced to 0 during that attack, so it's not something you just want to unleash willy-nilly. You have to weigh the consequences of using a quickening in relation to being able to continue to use the magic powers that you're sacrificing in order to use the quickening. Now, for some characters like Balthier, that is a pretty easy trade-off. Not really that good of a magic user, so you're going to want to more likely to use that. But compared to somebody like Manello, who is more of a almost dedicated magic user, then you're going to want to think more about it. Or even a character like Vaughn, not terribly strong with magic, but he's still good enough to be useful with it. You're going to want to weigh the consequences. Now we are trying to get to the tomb of King Wraithwall. The backstory to this guy hasn't been revealed really up until this point, but he had come across back when he was the ruler over all of these lands here, had come across something called these large shards, the Dawn Shard, the Dusk Shard, and another one called the Midlight Shard. I think that's what it's called. And he split them up and then gave them to the different sections. Like Dalmasca had the Dusk Shard, the Midlight Shard, I think it was, went to another country, and of course the Dawn Shard is the one we're after, and he was buried with it. But regardless of who it was intended to go to, it will react to the presence of someone with royal blood, and that's why we're after it.
A construct to draw oil from the ground. Abandoned many years now, it seems.
Did Dalmascans build this?
No, the Rosarians. Their empire lies far to the west, ever at war with Arcadia. Heedless of the kingdoms caught in their midst. Dalmasca, Nabrodia, Landis.
'Tis the small craft's fate to watch the list of the galleons and pray for light winds.
Vosla, why are you here?
Imagine my surprise when upon my return to Bogerba, I find both you and the Lady Ashe have vanished. I thought you above consorting with sky pirates.
Balthier is a man worthy of our trust, and it was the Lady Ashe's decision. I am content to lend my arm, as I could not when Rasla died, when her throne was taken. Never again. I will defend her this time.
You walked the Knight's path. The Lady Ashe?
We should leave this place.
Let me guess. Sandstorm?
Something far worse.
We leave at once. This is Urutan Yensa territory, and they are unfond of visitors. Looks like we've attracted the wrong sort of attention. Let's quit this place while we still can. Move!
Vossler! Have you found the means to restore Dalmasca?
First, we must claim the Dawn Shard. It all begins with that.
Okay, we've got Vossler back in as a temporary character, and all of the badassery that he brings with him. So, killing things is going to be getting that much easier. But also in the areas up ahead, the monsters are going to get quite a bit tougher, so we're going to have to be aware of that. Now, it seems as though we have entered into an area of the natives here don't really like outsiders, so we're going to have to be careful about running across those guys. And, oh geez, Vossler's leveled up a little bit since the last time we've seen him. Let's get Ashe into this group. Now, Vossler was supposed to, when we last seen him, he was supposed to go off and try to find some other effort in which he can go and try to help us out, figure out some way to help Ashe reclaim the throne. Now, he's been gone not really all that long, but he's made a rather quick return, and he hasn't really explained much about what his plan was. But basically, it's the same. So far, it's only been the same thing that we've been planning all along. We need the Dawn Shard in order to do anything to prove that she is who she says she is. Okay, here are the little native dudes that we're going to have to be fighting. These guys are more powerful than the little tomato monsters that we were fighting earlier. Stop running! Little guys getting you separated can be dangerous. Though I'm not really worried about it right now. As long as we have Vossler in the group, he should be able to do quite a bit of damage. Now, here's the thing that I really wanted to avoid. Ashe, I had given her the ranged weapon because I wanted her to stay out of range of the enemy so she wouldn't get beaten up too much, but for some reason, as soon as she attacked them, they all immediately turned their attention to her. Two of them ran up the ramp to attack her melee style, and she took a lot of damage really quick. It's the kind of thing I was hoping to avoid with her, but oh, this one's got a ranged weapon anyway. Almost took it down in one. Level up! Gonna get a pretty good chain level going here. Ever since we've gone and gotten the ability to heal our characters, and the Gambits help a lot too. The time that you spend a lot of time running around in the field, you no longer need save points. Hey look, there's a trap. If I were to run into that, I'd take damage. See? Oh, it was a rejuvenation trap. Never mind. That actually healed us. Usually they'll hurt you. If you are caught in a situation where you have to be out in the field for long periods of time, in earlier games that would be the death of you, because you needed time to rest up, you needed to hit the inns, you needed to hit the item shops, and to buy new weapons, buy potions, all that kind of stuff, so you could heal yourself between fights. But ever since we gained the ability to use magic to cure our characters, everything has gotten quite a bit easier. Notice that I definitely must have mentioned this in earlier episodes, even though I don't remember doing it. Your characters will heal, not rejuvenate their MP as they run around. Number of footsteps they take. See, as she's moving, Ashe, with a low MP right now because she's been using it a lot, it regenerates. And as long as you can run in a circle around where enemies are not at, you can regain your MP. Now these oil platforms were built by Rosaria. Now the magicite is primarily used in the various technologies in the world of Ivalice. That doesn't mean it's the only form of energy, and Rosaria at least tried to use oil, petroleum, to their advantage. Now it appears that this place has been abandoned for a while. Everything's rusty and all of that, so I don't know how long ago that effort was abandoned, but apparently it was an unsuccessful endeavor. Perhaps they were being overly hassled by these, I forget what they were called, those native guys riding the weird sand dolphins. Perhaps they were too much trouble, and they had to abandon their efforts in this area. But in any case, it's no longer active. Now, it's not, I guess you'd have to suspect that countries like Rosaria or Arcadia would be trying to do things like this, seeking out alternative forms of energy, because they are at war with each other, and whoever can get the most resources is probably going to end up winning. War is as much a resource thing as it is a taking battlefield victories thing. A country that doesn't have the resources to continue a fight is one that's going to lose. Regardless of how many tactical victories they make, it's a strategic loss if you can't secure resources. This effort I've been making to keep Ashe out of taking any damage really hasn't worked out too well. Where are you going? Chump. Let's try that quickening one more time.
Got a surprise for you.
Yeah, I was supposed to hit triangle there, I think. I'll try again in a few minutes when my MP gets back up. It's been a while since I've played this game, been a long time since I've done any quickenings, especially. So, I'm not entirely good at remembering what buttons I needed to press to do whatever. That's why I'm screwing this up so bad. Oh, something I forgot to mention earlier. The gambit system has been increased. Now, look at this. We have 4 potential gambits that we could use. Like, let's say I wanted to switch this one with number 4. And, let's say I wanted, never mind. I can't really do this yet because I didn't purchase any more gambits. But if I could pick up more gambit setups where, like, if friendly character is silenced, throw like echo screen at him or something like that. And I should have purchased these things before I left, but I wasn't really thinking of it. I'll get to that in a later episode, though. A properly set up gambit system with your characters can make you, like, unless you're fighting an enemy that's just simply beyond you, can make it so everything goes really, really smoothly. I remember when I first beat this game, got to the final boss, I thought it was going to be an impossible thing, and I thought he was such a difficult enemy. And it was a battle that ended up taking me like a half an hour from start to finish, and I kept thinking, oh, I am definitely going to die out here. But I had set up the gambit system together, my gambits up so well that I ended up, the characters just survived and kept supporting each other. You get to the very end then, and they just kept going on and on and on. And I don't know how long it would have taken for the end boss to have actually defeated my characters, but it didn't end up happening, and I won the fight. Of course, there is a factor of how high of a level your characters are. If their levels are so low that they can't, that they are just not strong enough to do enough damage, or fast enough to, or strong enough to absorb the damage, then of course it's all for nothing. I thought maybe this thing might have been weak against blizzard attacks, but I was wrong about that. Oh, Ashe is down. Let's get her out of there. Perhaps I was fighting off more than I could chew, trying to take these things on. I should probably flee. But didn't really work out. Bosch just went down. Oh, I was doing this without Vossler. No wonder. Let's try this again. Yeah, heal us up real quick, do the gambit thing. If you try this again, maybe we do get a little better off. That thing has regen on, so I want to hit it before it has a chance to regenerate all of its HP. Come on, Vossler, kick some ass. Maybe we should be attacking the same enemy instead of spreading our efforts across to multiple targets. Now, Lon is down. Whoops, I dropped Fran out of it. Let's target the one Vossler's fighting so we can take that out real quick. Okay, that one's down. Kill this one. Two down. These things are a lot tougher than I was expecting them to be. Take it out, quick! Before Vossler goes down, and it's dead. Wow, those things were tough. Most of my characters were knocked out. I don't even think I have any Phoenix Downs, do I? That thing's not hostile. A killer bow! That's not just a regular bow, it's a killer bow. Can, oh wow, that'd be really nice if I can get that. See if I have enough license points to give it to Ashe. Should be around here somewhere. Killer bow, 30 points. Sweet. If she weren't unconscious, I'd be able to use that. Pretty big boost in damage there, too. Oh, there's another treasure chest. Let me have this. I don't know if check to see if I have any Phoenix Downs. Oh, I have 4 of them. That's good. There we go. I have to use items, unfortunately. I don't have any spells at the moment that can bring our characters back to life. So I'm going to have to live with what I have at the moment, using the few Phoenix Downs that I have remaining. I guess it wasn't really worth it. Oh no, that killer bow that I picked up, that could be quite useful. So I guess it was... well, it has yet to be proven if it was worth it to go down there and fight those gigantic frogs. They were a little more powerful than I was expecting them to be. Alright, let's get that. Let's get Ashe back up. It's a big place. Let's run around a little bit, try to restore our characters. Don't want to be caught with my pants down trying to fight some monsters that are too powerful for me, you know. Damn it, we both cured Vossler at the same time. Kind of a waste since he hit maximum HP. Alright, that's good enough for now. I'm gonna run around here and see how much damage that killer bow is capable of.
Yeah.
165, that was quite good there. It actually gives her roughly on par damage with what Vaughn was doing just now. I guess it was worth it. Stupid little monster thing. Of course, everyone's doing less damage than Vossler is. That guy's vicious there. I don't know what's funny about this, what I'm looking at right now, but somehow it is. These guys have such short legs. I don't know why these guys are supposed to be so difficult. They're tiny little things. But they all have haste cast on them. I guess that kind of speeds them up, but, you know, they're funny looking little dudes, aren't they? I wonder if that's their face or if that's some sort of a mask. I know they're not supposed to be humans. Wow, there's a bunch of these little guys. Now, at this point, I want to wonder how, what some of our characters are doing here. I get why the story is basically focused around Ashe. She's here because she's the one that has the largest vested interest in what goes on in the storyline. It's her story about reclaiming the throne from the Empire. And Ashe is there because he is a knight of Dalmasca and he's sworn to protect the princess. So is Vossler. Valfir is there because, well, Ashe needs him because of his airship and what he can do to help them out. Fran is there because Valfir is there. But then I gotta bring up the question of what the hell Vaughn is doing there. Now, he doesn't really have any real interest in what's going on. He's not a knight. His brother was, but he isn't. And you just have to come to the conclusion that he's there only because he thinks it'll be a good time. He wants to live an adventure. And the only reason why Penelo is there is because Vaughn's there. She's just going to follow him around wherever he goes. So it creates this weird sort of situation where the main character that you're playing as is not actually the main character in the story. It's kind of weird. What we were doing pretty much is more or less just viewing what goes on in the game from the sidelines, as opposed to actually like viewing the storyline from sort of the sidelines. And it's a very different turn from what we've seen in this series before. Now, I guess some of the earlier games sort of had an effect like that, say Final Fantasy, you're playing as Fetus, but really the story was about Yuna and her going and defeating Sin and all that kind of stuff. But really, he had a very important part of that story, being a person who was from that imaginary world and all that kind of stuff. And I can maybe even say 9 was about that, because through a majority of the storyline, the main character really didn't have Zidane, or Zidane, didn't really have a whole hell of a lot to do with what was going on. He was just a person who was there. Oh, and Zidane is here as well. And that creates some weird, kind of a weird character dynamic. And eventually, though, he rose to prominence, just like Tidus eventually rose to prominence in the storyline. But in this game, Vaughn started out in the earlier portions of the game being a very important influence on the plot. Like, we invaded the castle, we broke into the castle because it's what Vaughn wanted to do. And we go to Berjuva because Vaughn wants to go and save Penelo and all that kind of stuff. But from this point on, his importance in the storyline is going to be greatly diminished. And I think the only real reason why he continues to be there is because he wants to be, and the only reason why they accept his presence there is because he's actually pretty good at what he does. He's a good fighter, and that's exactly what they need, even if few of the people there are really willing to tolerate his presence. I get the feeling that Balthier sort of sees him a little bit as like a protege, and Fran accepts him because Balthier accepts him, blah blah blah. Well, there's a dragon here. Just kill this little tomato thing, we'll be okay. Okay, you know what? Let's do this right.
How about some of this?
Okay, I didn't get the chance there, I don't think. But I probably killed it anyway. Oh, didn't kill it. I feel dumb now. I'll go back to killing the little thing. Wow, that thing's agile. Came out of nowhere and attacked. I guess if I weren't... it's possible that I could have gotten my ass kicked in that fight had I not been paying attention. Not that I did a terribly good job of fighting it anyway. Pay attention to the map, because you could these weird round things that you run across could very easily get you lost. Like if you're not paying attention to the map, you could end up returning back to a position that you were at previously. I just realized that this episode's been going on for 33 minutes. Haven't really found a good position that I want to end the episode with, though. Oh, shit. Vossler almost went down there. I guess it's not a terribly bad idea to swap your characters out from time to time. But even if he is beaten up a little bit, Vossler's not a character that you can just exchange, because he's not... I can't exchange Vossler for another character, because he's not one of my controllable party members. Dude, sneaking up behind us. Damn, that guy does some damage. Somebody gained a level. I think it might have been Ashe. Yeah, she was 13 before. Okay, time to swap my characters out. Ashe in for Penelo. Let's get Fran in instead of... I want to keep my characters relatively the same level. Even though I don't think this is a particularly good group to have, because between Penelo and Fran, neither of them are particularly good characters to have. Not like any character is really useless, but there are more useful characters. And I've kind of made a big thing about making sure that certain characters have certain weapons equipped and that kind of stuff, and using it for certain tactics. But it's It's sort of like the way the characters were in Final Fantasy VII. Although certain characters were definitely better than others in certain tasks, it's not as big of an issue as some people like to make it out to be like. I could definitely give Penelo a powerful two-handed sword, and she'll go and do some nice damage with it. I can give her the best armor I can find, and she could definitely take a few hits and keep on going. But of course, she wouldn't be quite as good as another character I would have if I were to say, do the same thing with somebody like Balthier. He'd be more useful with it. So it's really playing up to their strengths, and even if the difference is not going to be overwhelmingly significant, you're going to want to at least put some effort into getting your characters in their proper roles. I just realized that Penelo does not have any gambits set up. I'm just going to give her the standard ally below 70% use cure. And let her go to town on curing our characters. Ooh, this one's got a sword. He's not just trying to smack us with his stumpy little paws. Ah, jeez. On the other hand, I can definitely get why some players don't like the character, doesn't like the character of Penelo, because aside from the fact that she's one of the less useful characters in the game, which is also the problem of... Wake up, you little fuck. Some of the characters, and it's one of the things that I've heard before as a complaint about this game, was the characters weren't particularly memorable. And, you know, aside from maybe Balthier, who's a pretty memorable character, and maybe Ashe is too. That's pretty much true. None of the characters really stand out in my memory as being good characters that I really want to, that I really think of immediately when this game comes to mind. But Penelo was definitely a character that a lot of people had a very negative reaction to. Oh, he's awake. I think a lot of that had to do with the fact that she isn't the most useful character to have in a strafe. She's a little bit weaker than the others, so why use her at all if other characters do what she does but better? To that I say, yeah, you're right about that. But at the same time, I got to, can I go down there? Get that? But I think the real reason why she's not considered to be a memorable character or a likable character or anything like that is because she is kind of a pain in the ass. Like, the first thing she does when we first see her is take away Vaughn's little money pouch that he had stolen. Basically, like she's kind of like a killjoy. She complains a lot and all that kind of stuff, and she's not a character who really is supportive of what the other ones do. Like, Vaughn wants to go do something fun. Penelo is a killjoy. That kind of stuff. And it is kind of annoying. And later on in the story, just like Vaughn, her importance in the storyline diminishes as we go on, and that's really all you're going to end up being left with, is this killjoy of a character who just complains about things and doesn't really contribute much to the storyline. So that's probably why a lot of people don't like her. If you take, like, her ordinary personality from moment to moment, she's probably very, she's not really that bad of a character taken in that perspective, but you sort of have to weigh the entire thing, not just what she... I mean, what I'm trying to say is I certainly get why people don't like the character. Why aren't you healing people, Penelo? I set up a friggin', set up the gambits with you so you'd do this. Tell me that crap wasn't, it's not turned on. There we go. I knew this was going to be a dead end, but I wanted to head down here because I figured there might be a good treasure chest. Where am I, anyway? No. I thought this was a dead end. It's not, though. What's in here, then? Is this our destination? No, but there is a save crystal over here. Oh, look, some people. That'll definitely help us out. It's a gate crystal, so we can transport back to Dalmasca, back to Rabanastre if we want to. And this is a good place. I realize the episode's been going on for 41.5 minutes at this point, so it's getting too long, though. So I'm going to end the episode here and pick it up next episode. We'll be moving on, so thanks for watching, and come back for the next episode.